Hey everyone, this is Matt from Denon DJ here, and we're going to take a look at some of the main features of the SC6000 series and Engine OS. So first of all, let's talk about our touchscreen. On the SC6000 series, we have a brand new 10.1 inch touchscreen. And of course, we have all of our pinch and zoom features, and our needle search, and anything else we can touch enable on the screen is our track time. We can also engage our quantize and continuous play. And then of course, we can shift keys in real time using our key shift. So let's take a look at some of the browsing features now. If I head to my crates, you can see I can swipe through and also swipe tracks in to a deck. Now if I come back to my crates, I can also edit playlists as well, and also edit crates. So let's go to my edit tool now. Let's create a brand new crate. Let's call this test. And we can grab multiple tracks and do a batch export by simply holding down and swiping across. So this is real-time playlist and crate edit and creation on the fly without the need for a laptop. And I can also do the same with playlists as well. If I head to my edit tool, I can create a brand new playlist or playlist folder. If I go back to crates and then switch to my edit mode again, I can also edit where the crate appears on my list and also create a sub crate by dropping any crate into the next. So Engine OS has a very powerful search feature. If I head to my magnifying glass, we can take a look at some of our filtering options. So on our main filters on the left hand side, we have our genre, artist, album, BPM and key. Let's hit BPM and let's head to this value here. And of course I can then filter this down again by using the second filter. So this time let's stick with key. We have another filter in our QWERTY search as well. If I head back to my main values and then tap any of these, I can add any of these values to my QWERTY search. Now this means I can perform very broad searches if I simply hit search all. So let's go to the top and let's go just genre and a BPM. So this time let's go house and let's go 125. And you can see all my results appear on the right hand side, which I can then shift from ascending or descending. This means I can find what I'm looking for very quickly and very easily. Once I've found a track, I can actually preview this in my headphones using the touchscreen. So if I tap this track artwork here, you can see I can scan through using the touchscreen. Now we have a built-in failsafe here, because if I try to do this with the track fader up, it'll tell me to lower the channel volume before it previews. Now let's take a look at streaming media. So if I tap my source icon here at the top, you can see I have access to Beatport Link, SoundCloud and Tidal. Now of course Wi-Fi is a huge feature with the Prime series, and this enables DJs to pull from different media sources and different platforms to expand their library even further. Let's take a look at Tidal. So now here we're in Tidal. I can look at my playlists which I've created on my Tidal account. Of course any of Tidal's curated playlists, mood and genres. So now I'm in my dance playlist. Let's find a track to load into the deck. Let's swipe this in and you can see it says downloading. And then once it's downloaded, the track buffers because obviously the Prime series is capable of auto analysis of tracks from the player. And then when the waveform is built, we'll have our full beat grid and key information. Now on streaming media, like we can with physical media, we can also edit the beat grid as well. If I hold down my select and zoom encoder, I can move the jog wheel, and any change I make to the beat grid or hotkeys in stream media will be saved to my physical media that I have plugged in to the SC6000. So now let's take a look at Beatport Link. If we come to my source menu here and tap Beatport Link, you'll see we are now in our Beatport Link navigation. So we have access to top 100 tracks from Beatport, which are all broken down into genres. So let's hit on the breaks playlist and find a track. And again, downloads into the deck, the track buffers, and we'll have streaming media ready to DJ with. Now with streaming media, I can also search the entire database of any of my platforms. Let's come up to my Tidal account now. If I come to my magnifying glass here, and then let's find a track. And then again, swap it into the deck, and the track is then downloaded, cached, and analyzed. The SE6000 series is dual layer, which means we can play 2 tracks just from the one player. Now combine that with our streaming content, this means we can pull from different sources on different layers. So if I head up to my Tidal account here and head to my playlist, I'm going to load in a track from my dance playlist into deck 1. And then on layer 2, I'm going to use my USB media to find a track and layer that into layer B. So here we now have one layer playing from streaming content and a second layer playing from my USB media. The dual layer feature can be many things to many different DJs. First and foremost, it's a creative tool. I can reserve a second layer for chopping up acapellas, or simply using the second layer for loops for transitions, or I can simply use it in a practical sense, just DJing from one player and one mixer. So now let's take a look at a live remix idea just using the one player and the dual layer system. On my first layer, I have a track playing. So I have a full track on layer A, and then on layer B I have some acapella chops, and I'm just going to play around and create a live remix kind of vibe. So that's one of the many creative applications that can be used with the dual layer system. So in this case, I'm not running any external pad hardware or any external samplers. I'm simply using the dual layer system to chop up acapellas and create a live remix mashup. Now, utilizing the multi-core processor and Engine OS, the Prime series has a very powerful key lock system with DAW-style time stretching. So let's take a look at an example of that. I have this track set to +20 on my pitch range, and we're going to pitch this down so you can hear how the track retains all of the quality and the melodic content without applying any artifacts. Now this time we're going to try +50. So this is incredibly important for open format DJs. You need to be able to pull around those different BPMs and different genres and go between them convincingly without the track breaking up or having any artifacts applied. So that's our very powerful key lock system. So as I mentioned before, the Prime series is capable of auto analysis. This means when a track is loaded into a deck that has not been through any music management software, the player will analyze the track, give you the full beat grid, BPM, and key information. So we've already looked at that with streaming content, but let's look at that with some physical media content. So here I'm going to load in this instrumental onto the deck, and you can see the waveform builds. But of course we can play the track as the waveform builds. And as you can see, we have the full beat grid, key, and BPM information. So if you have any tracks which have not been analysed by Engine Prime or any other software, you can do this directly from the player. So we've expanded on the physical media inputs on our SC series. At the front we have a USB, este, and 2 USB at the rear as well. What we've now added with the 6000 series is a brand new 2.5-inch SATA docking drive. So we can install terabytes worth of music and have it on the player in situ and be continually updated via a USB and a laptop. A new control feature we've brought to the SC series is Virtual DJ. So as of version 151 of Engine OS, we have Virtual DJ Control. Now this retains all the touchscreen features such as swiping and QWERTY searching of tracks. And you're also able to control many things within Virtual DJ from the 10-inch touchscreen, as well as control up to 4 decks just from one player. So to quickly talk about our brand new 1.6 public beta, which is available on the Denon DJ forum, you can see we've now added Dropbox and BeatSource link for our streaming content. And of course with Dropbox, this is a really important one because this now means you'll have your personal cloud storage available to download onto a player. Whether it's a library backup or your re-edits of tracks that you stored in your Dropbox account, you can now have access to this directly from the SC6000. On our end, we've replaced our previous Allen key system with a brand new quick release solution. So for turntablists with the M, we have zero latency performance. So this will ensure zero drift when performing heavy duty scratching. With the brand new X1850 mixer, we've added a number of things. In addition to our new channel faders, we've also added MIDI start-stop. So with MIDI start-stop, if we have something like a BPM-based effects module connected, or for example a sampler like an Akai MPC, we now have sequence bar start information for perfect syncing between the devices. MIDI can be sent via the 5-pin DIN or the USB from the rear of the unit. Let's quickly take a look at some of the effects routing on the X1850. We have our filter and our sweep effects on separate encoders. This means we can apply a filter and our sweep effects independently. The BPM values of the digital effects can be controlled via the ribbon in two different ways. So I can apply an echo, let's go with 3/4. I can change the value of these effects by simply sliding my finger across the ribbon. This is cool for effects like phaser or flanger. I can change the cycle of that effect just by using the ribbon. If I use instant, that means I can arm the effect simply by touching the ribbon, and when I remove my finger, the effect is then unarmed. Of course, the X1850 retains some of our most unique effects. Let's check out Beat Breaker. With Beat Breaker, I can slice up my tracks in different ways using the 10 built-in patterns, but I can also create my own using the menu system. The X1850 is also a 10-channel USB audio interface. If I have two SE6000s connected, both running in dual layer mode, I can record each of the 4 separate layers to my DAW of choice just via the USB. So that's a quick look at the brand new SE6000 series in addition to what's new with Engine OS. Don't forget to check out the Denon DJ website as well as all of our social platforms for all the latest updates.